The first president of Kazakhstan, Nursultan Nazarbayev, has set a task to ensure that the Nursultan Party's work over the years of independence should become a pillar and a foundation for new achievements in completely new political conditions. The first president made the announcement during an extended meeting of Nursultan Political Council. Nursultan Nazarbayev highlighted that for the country's overall success, strong leaders and a strong party who can sensitively respond to the needs of society is needed. The first president of Kazakhstan proposed to organize a special meeting between the government and the representatives of the Nursultan Party in the Majlis. The Nursultan Party is faced with the task to maintain the consistency and continuity of the strategic course.
Народ, в общем, видит результат нашей работы, все, что мы годы независимости делали.
People see the result of our work. We did all this work during the years of independence. We adopted laws and practical actions. All of this was done by our Nursultan Party. However, life does not stand still. Everything changes and political parties around the world face new political challenges. The international experience shows that a period of instability for moving forward requires unity, both within the leading political force and in society. It is impossible to achieve big goals without this. In the new political conditions, the role of the party is growing significantly.
В новых политических условиях роль партии существенно возрастает.
China, Iran, Bahrain, the United Arab Emirates and the European Union import meat products from Kazakhstan. Each year, the number of countries buying meat products from Kazakhstan is increasing. Chinese experts said that the local products that are exported globally have high quality. The Chinese experts visited the region and observed the production processes for 10 days. The visit resulted in 20 tons of boneless frozen meat exported to China. By the end of this year, 4,000 tons of meat products will be exported to the neighboring country. The contract is signed for the supply of 1,000 tons of beef. Today, the first package of 20 tons is being delivered. We will also work together with another Chinese company where we will provide the technology and carry out the delivery of the next batch of meat. I think we can export 4,000 tons of beef by the end of this year. In the future, we will increase our production volumes. Meanwhile, 2,000 tons of meat will be exported abroad from East Kazakhstan this year. Mainly canned food and sausages are sold to other countries. In the beginning of 2020, a modern laboratory will be opened in Voskimen. The lab will adopt the procedures that are based on international standards.
Еще одно направление у нас Узбекистан.
We also plan to export to Uzbekistan. Our large farms as well as the farms in Uzbekistan have signed a preliminary agreement on the export of beef. We plan to export nearly 1,600 tons of meat. We have a real opportunity to meet the plan to export 2,000 tons of meat. However, we have to solve the problems at the state level.
Проблемы, которые на межгосударственном уровне.
Kazakhstan aims to turn its agro-industrial complex into one of the driving forces of its economy. The country is a leader among the members of Eurasian Economic Union in terms of milk and meat exports. Kazakhstan's agricultural production increased by 3.8% this year. According to EAEU's data, Russia's agricultural production has grown by 1.2%, while Kyrgyzstan and Belarus saw a 1.7% and 0.2% growth, respectively. Cooperation between Kazakhstan and India continues to develop successfully. Ambassador of India to Kazakhstan, Prabhat Kumar, opined that the relations between the two countries are reaching a new level. Trade turnover between the countries amounted to $1 billion only in last year alone.
New investments are coming from India. There are some investments from Kazakhstan also in India. And we have a lot of interest in many areas, including energy, petroleum and food, agriculture products, and we are working towards improving logistics and transportation from India to Kazakhstan.
Political cooperation is also being developed between the countries. The ambassador said that India was one of the first countries to recognize Kazakhstan as a sovereign state after the country announced its independence. The first president of Kazakhstan, Nursultan Nazarbayev, paid a number of official visits to India. Cooperation in education field has also reached a big progress, whereby India provided educational scholarships for Kazakhstan students for undergraduate program and postgraduate studies. Cultural cooperation between the countries is expanding as well. The Indian Center, which is successfully operating in the Kazakh capital, is offering yoga, dance, music, and Hindi language sessions. In honor of the Day of Independence in India, a photo exhibition was held in the capital to introduce the Kazakhs to India's rich culture, festivals, sites, wedding traditions, and fauna. Kazakhstan is attracting tourists from all over the world. Last year, 8 million travelers visited the country. Foreigners are interested in picturesque nature and historical monuments of the Great Steppe, as well as the traditions and culture of nomads. Growth of tourist numbers is due to simplification of visa travel to Kazakhstan. To date, citizens of 60 countries can visit Kazakhstan without applying for visa. Georgia is one of such countries. According to travel agencies, the number of tourists from Georgia increased by 75% last year. Previously, Georgians visited Kazakhstan for business purposes only. Now they pay a visit to Kazakhstan as tourists as well. This is a very developed country with rich history. Georgians choose Turkestan as a tourist destination. The ancient city is popular for its monuments and mosques. Moreover, many travelers are drawn to the nature and diverse landscape in Kazakhstan. Tourists from Georgia are interested in the ancient cities of Kazakhstan that are located along the Silk Road. Kazakhs visit these places during excursions and vacations in local sanatoriums. It is clear that historical tourism continues to develop in Georgia as well. There are a number of historical monuments left by Kazakhs' ancestors Kipchaks. The head of Trails of Nomads Excursions said that this fact will positively impact tourism development. Festivals and exhibitions of craftspeople will also increase the number of visitors.
Грузиндер прямо келісіп отыр. Жартылай, біз жартылай 50% пайызбен осындай фильм.
Georgians have agreed to film a joint project. They want both Kazakhs and Georgians to know the history. We have to build common historical monuments as well as work together in the field of museum, particularly exchange exhibits.
Музейлердің қарым-қатынас жасайық, мынау артефактлармен, музейдегі жәдігерлермен дейді.
The head of the expedition claimed that if Kazakhstan and Georgia continue to work together to popularize the historical heritage, then the tourism relations between the countries will reach to a new level. Tajikistan has a big tourism potential with its picturesque mountain landscapes and beautiful nature. The country's potential for tourism development was discussed by ambassadors of different countries and representatives of international organizations. They visited one of Tajikistan's most popular tourist destinations, as well as a folk crafts exhibition. During the tour, they also visited a farm. The visitors said that the hospitality of Tajik people and the unique gifts of nature play an important role in the development of tourism in the country. I like the unique and beautiful nature of Tajikistan, as well as the hospitality of Tajik people. I want to visit this amazing place once again. Another flight between India and Tajikistan will start in the next upcoming months. We will be able to promote tourism opportunities between Tajikistan and India. I'm sure that there will be a lot of Indian tourists here after the launch of the new flight.
Я считаю, что у Таджикистана много хороших ресурсов туризма. На территории Таджикистана 93% это горы.
I think that Tajikistan has many tourism resources, and 93% of them are mountains. There are 3,000 lakes and 2,500 rivers. It is a great wealth for the country. I mean, we have great opportunities and potential to develop tourism cooperation between China and Tajikistan.
Большие возможности и потенциалы для налаживания сотрудничества в области туризма между Китаем и Таджикистаном.
Romit Valley is declared as a sightseeing place in Tajikistan. Currently, improvement of public services is being conducted at an accelerated pace. This will improve the conditions for tourists. The oldest square in Kyrgyzstan is being restored. It is located in the Osh city. Today, it is the first 100th anniversary of the square, which has Eastern and contemporary motifs in a landscape design. Favorable conditions for visitors are being created in the Toktogul Saltiganov Park. The park's paving stones and new lawns, as well as latest video surveillance and lighting systems, have been installed.
Бұл пано, мозаичный пано, Улу Jibek жолы деген
This is a mosaic wall painting. The theme of the painting is the Great Silk Road. We display all elements related to the Silk Road.
Jibek жолuna байланыштуу элементтерди түшүргөнбүз.
Despite reconstruction in the park, hundreds of tourists visit the city's arboretum every day.
Есть такое суеверие, но как бы
There is
если
a superstition that if a couple pays a visit to this park on their wedding day, then their life will be rich, green and fresh, just like this park.
насыщенный, зеленый, свежий.
The park, which is popular among residents and foreign tourists, was opened in 1919. It was named after Toktogul Satilganov, who was a famous Kyrgyz poet.
Ош не зеленый город. Никаких ли парковых зон?
Osh is not a green city since there were no parks previously. It was a typical Asian town, so people needed a park. The park was located on the left side of the Akbura River because there were constant floods in this area of the city. Silver poplar trees were planted in the park in order to drain the floods. First, the silver poplar trees grow very fast and they create shadows. Secondly, the trees consume a lot of water, and this is how this area of the riverside is kept dry.
Берег реки, эту территорию.
The renovated park will be opened on August 31st, which is timed to the Independence Day of Kyrgyzstan. Kazakh filmmakers have won the hearts of viewers with their historical projects. Films about nomads should be a brand of Kazakh cinematography. They said that this has become a trend globally. Over the last 10 years, Kazakhstan's film industry has been flourishing. In 2009, less than 10 movies are filmed, whereas today, there are more than 50 films shot in 1 year. Currently, 85% of local movies are produced by small private companies. Representatives of the film industry said that it is necessary to produce large-scale films based on state orders.
Я пришел к такой мысли, что наш
I decided that we should produce a movie about nomadic lifestyle or a movie with historical genre. International viewers can get a little bored with Star Wars and Robocops. Everyone wants something natural. People want to feel the nature, to smell the horses right from the screen when watching the movies in cinemas. This is what we have. I believe this is our niche.
природы. Это все у нас есть. Я считаю, что это наша ниша.
In recent years, local films such as Kazakh Khanate, Jau Jurek Munbala, Mustafa Shokai, and The Sky of My Childhood have been produced by Kazakh Film Studio. The movies are highly appreciated by the local audience. In the future, Kazakh Film has great plans in terms of movie production. After the adoption of the law on cinematography, a national cinema center was opened in the country, which directly deals with the distribution of funds to produce films. Kazakh Film will provide the services. I believe that Kazakhstan's film industry is like a train, and all the film companies are its wagons. The train should continuously move forward. Cinema is a spiritual, cultural, and ideological world that reflects the past and the present. The cinema changes constantly in order to be up to date with the current trend. Kazakhstan has many talented people working in the film industry. Today, the country needs experienced, knowledgeable, and professional producers.
Бізде продюсер деген институт енді қалыптасып жатыр.
We've just started to create an institute of film production. In Hollywood, this professional area began in 1930s, while in Europe it started in 1940s. The range of a producer's work is huge. A film producer should be a specialist who can cover all the areas of production. Film experts said that the return on investment for a feature-length historical film with a huge budget can be recovered by streaming the movie internationally. In addition, the prospects in this area are opening up due to international cooperation. The descendant of great Abay Kunanbayev plans to celebrate his 175th birthday by organizing a tour across Kazakhstan. Baltash Yersalimov, who lives in Semey, is a direct descendant of the legendary poet. He has been a director of the Republican Fund of Abay for 25 years. He is also a journalist. Over the past years, he has worked for a newspaper and also headed the local Museum of History and the Kazakh Philharmonic. The 82-year-old descendant of Abay plans to organize the tour around Kazakhstan in memory of his ancestors, despite his old age.
Абайдың енді өмірден көргені көп,
Abay had witnessed a lot in his life. In his poem, he wrote, "Don't blame me on the fight against darkness and ignorance." He wanted his nation to study and to learn about culture. Moreover, he wanted people to respect and understand each other. In his works, he encouraged the people to unite together. The youngest descendant of Abay, Yerjan Yersalimov, agrees with his ancestors' opinion. He assures that the work of the great poet is still relevant today. The popular challenge of reciting Abay's works continues today. I think that this is a great initiative because young people will read and understand his works at this level. Representatives of other nations have also supported this initiative. The Aisha Bibi Cultural Center under the House of Friendship in Semey organized an hour of poetry reading. The number of Kazakhs who want to visit different destinations in the country increases every year. Last year, more than 4 million people spent their vacation at local resorts and reserve areas. The country's youth contributes to the popularization of beauties of nature, holy places and historical monuments. Young scientists, poets, writers and bloggers headed to 7 places to get acquainted with the cultural and historical heritage of the country's regions.
Жалпы бізге ұсыныс тастаған қатысуға ниет білдірген 1500-ге жуық адам болды. Соның ішінде
The travelers were divided into 100 people. They decided to go on a tour in 7 selected areas. The travelers will travel around western and eastern Kazakhstan, as well as Karaganda, Turkestan and Pavlodar regions.
Түркістан облысы, одан кейін Павлодар облысы, және де Шығыс Қазақстан облысы бар.
Нам очень важно также выходить за рамки, то есть
It is very important for us to go beyond the limit. I mean, traveling around Kazakhstan is a great idea. Many locals haven't seen the beauties of our country. They don't know what surrounds us. They want to go abroad instead. I realized that I can have a good vacation and new adventures, as well as see new beauties in Kazakhstan.
Набраться новых впечатлений и увидеть новые красоты.
The participants of the youth caravan also went to eastern Kazakhstan. In Semey, they visited the museum house of Mukhtar Awezov, traveled to Jibek, got acquainted with Yenlik Jibek monument, and then went to burial mounds and the Bukhtarma reservoir.
99 участников сейчас в Восточно-Казахстанскую область приехали. Они все молодые деятели искусства.
99 participants have arrived in the East Kazakhstan region. They are young artists, scientists, viners, and bloggers who have more than 100,000 subscribers. They all use a certain hashtag on their Instagram accounts to share about the trip and their adventures. Then we will do a general review of how our program is developing.
Главная цель данного проекта показать активной молодежи.
The main goal of this project is to showcase the holy places to active young people so they can witness the historical heritage of Kazakhstan. We want them to see and write about it, and we also want to develop tourism in a new area. According to the results of the project, participants should create a set of recommendations for the development of domestic tourism in Kazakhstan. Creative youth from Kazakhstan and Russia met in the Kazakh capital. Nur-Sultan hosted the second International Festival of Youth Theaters, The Lucky Ticket. 5 amateur theaters of both countries arrived for the event. They came to present 6 performances. The festival gives an opportunity to the creative teams to showcase their works internationally and exchange the experience. The festival is organized by the National Youth Theater Sovremennik with the support of Nur-Sultan Mayor's office and the Russian Center for Science and Culture.
Прошлый год мы пытались сделать его само открытие даже у нас было в стиле Алисы.
Last year, the opening ceremony was performed in the Alice in Wonderland theme. There is no age limit for the participants. We have creative teams that consist of children and teams of adults aged over 30.
Есть коллективы, где совсем детки от 5 лет, и есть совсем взрослые, где уже за 30 людям.
Можно знакомиться с новыми людьми.
We get to know new people here. There is some sort of creative and social development taking place. For example, last year, we attended master classes and talked to other theater participants. We are truly gaining new experiences.
С театрами. То есть это действительно дает опыт.